The Fox News power rankings are in. Fox News power rankings are projecting Republicans to win the House just 27 days away from the midterm elections now. The Senate remaining a toss-up of 4 key races to watch in Arizona, Georgia, Nevada, and Pennsylvania. Joining the conversation all morning long this morning, Dagan McDowell, Michael Lee, James Freeman. Dagan, we're zeroing in on these races. You've got some newcomers in these races talking about Blake Masters and Mehmet Oz. Your thoughts on Herschel Walker in Georgia?
And speaking of Oz in Pennsylvania, John Fetterman did this interview with NBC News, and the reporter who interviewed him said specifically, in small talk before my interview with Fetterman, it wasn't clear that he understood what I was saying. And he was pressed on the issue of NBC said, we've asked for your medical records and you've declined. Why? Fetterman says, our doctor's already given you a record saying I'm ready to serve. And NBC presses him and says, that letter was 6 months ago. Don't voters deserve to know your status now? And his response was, I do speeches and give interviews during which he has to use not a teleprompter, but closed captioning to even understand what the reporter is asking him, which is what will happen with the debate toward the end of the month. So I think that this is something that's not going to go away for Fetterman and will get worse.
I think you're bringing up such an important point. Do we have that video of watching Fetterman when he's in the interview and he's got his computer right there, showing everything on the computer? I mean, James, you don't see this. And now we've got a sitting candidate wanting this Senate seat, and he's reading what everything is saying on the computer next to him in an interview.
Yeah, a lot of people in our industry giving him a pass. It's a legitimate question, but I kind of think with Fetterman, it benefits him to have the debate about his health through Election Day. Because I think to the extent that people are not talking about his truly radical views on crime and policing. And again, point. These are not sort of strange comments he made as a college student. These are not old comments. These are from 2020, 2021, even 2022 in terms of seeking to parole violent criminals.
People convicted of
comparing the police to an occupying force when they show up to enforce the law, blaming their riot gear, according to him, for starting riots. People think riots in this country happen because police wear riot gear. It is a really bizarre, reckless set of views he has expressed in his very recent history. And so I think to the extent that he can talk about his health and probably draw some sympathy from people, I think that's his best hope for holding on here in the last few weeks.
But you're not suggesting that concerns and questions about his stroke should be dismissed?
Not at all. Not at all. I'm just saying, I think if you're thinking about the Fetterman campaign and you've gotten this guy who has essentially done nothing, he's lived off his family for decades. He's had not much gainful employment, if at all, really nothing, just about, unless you count this brief period as lieutenant governor. He's expressed these radical views.
Yeah.
I think their best hope is to just keep all of that in the background and see if he can coast to the end here.
Meanwhile, former Hawaii Representative Tulsi Gabbard announced yesterday that she's leaving the Democrat Party. Gabbard ran for president, you remember, as a Democrat back in 2020, Mike, but now she says this is a party that is run by radical elites.
Yeah, it's really, you go back to the history of the Republican Party throughout the Northeast, it was the elites running the Republican Party. All those people have converted to the left, and that's why the Northeast is so dominated by the liberals. Part of the liberal mindset is reinventing the wheel because I'm smarter than you, I'm better than you. Nothing better personifies the modern day Democrat Party than lecturing your fellow citizen about what it's like to be smarter and better and the things and the different ways you should live your life. And I do more of this for climate change and yada, yada, yada. So
as they take planes, private jets everywhere.
So it's not surprising. Tulsi Gabbard is an independent thinker. There is no room for independent thought on the left today.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people the reaction was probably, she was still a Democrat?
Yeah.
Really? That didn't happen like a while ago? Her defecting from the party?
Now, she didn't say she's going to become a Republican. She just says she's leaving the Democrat Party.
Yeah, and look, she got a few percentage points in primaries last time around. Yeah. Maybe in a close election, if those call them Gabbard voters become unaffiliated, that could make a difference in tight races.
All right.
She ended the Kamala Harris presidential campaign in about 60 to 90 seconds when she went through her record and her hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And just remember, the vice president left the primary before a single vote was cast because she had no support.
I think we know that Kamala Harris ended her own campaign in success.
Have you ever seen anybody as unprepared?
No.
Beauty pageant contestants, like teenage beauty pageant contestants, maybe.